Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Club. My name is Darren Hancock and welcome to January the 8th. We're already a week into the month already, and the new year. I hope you guys are having an awesome time. I hope this year is exactly what you hoped for. And let's see if we can't make it a prosperous one as well. All right, let me just make sure we do all the usual checks this morning. Make sure everything's up and running. Let's go into here. And we are live. Excellent. Excellent. All right, let's look at all markets today. So, these are the daily charts and the top three indices here. We have, that's going to bug me. We got guys in the Breakfast Club on Telegram. Welcome, welcome. So for S&P, NASDAQ, and the Dow, let's look at this one for the daily chart. So I was looking at this daily chart here on the Dow, on the NASDAQ, and I was looking at this down close, Friday's down close wick, and I didn't want to see it close below that. Come down, tag these equal highs here. I was okay with that. And we ran all the way down to this fair value gap. Just tapped, reclaimed it one more time. We still haven't completely filled it, but we came back, tagged it again, and we're leaving. And we have fair value gaps above us. We have a weekly fair value gap. We're inside here, this gray box. And we're looking at the fair value gap draw on liquidity on the upside here. So we also are inside this fair value gap here on the daily back in December 12th. We also have consequent encroachment of the weekly. So these are my first two objectives up top right now on that from a weekly perspective. And you'll see that this ES, the E-mini S&P, swept all the way down into this gap. Look right here. Look at the precision on that. Dropped all the way down into the gap. We kicked off of that. We come back into this candle's high here, which is what we've done. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see it right there. We've come back, we've tagged it. So now, where's our potential? So we're looking for 50% of this wick. We want to close below that if you want to consider a downside. And the upside, we're looking at this we're inside this daily fair value gap. So from a daily perspective, potentially to come back up into that breaker one more time on the body. Or we drop down into this wick again. We're above the, you see how the fair value gaps, consequent encroachment here. The bodies of the candles are respecting that. We've had a big deep retracement, big pullback. So we're definitely meeting some resistance from these long drives attempts to get down there, and we keep pulling back. So a bigger dig into the upper portion of that daily fair value gap is, I want to see it close at above 50% of Friday's wick to continue on the upside. Dow Jones is still sitting down in here. We've got a daily fair value gap sitting here. And yeah, let me just make sure we put that in here. Daily fair value gap. Okay. So we've come back into the order block right here. We've reacted off of it. So I'm looking for a further downside, reaching for this liquidity below this level here, and digger deep, a bigger digger deep, a deeper dig into this daily fair value gap down here on this BISI for Dow Jones. So draw on the upside. It's almost like I'm talking a SMT divergence here. This one will go down. This one will go up. We've already hit the rejection block. We're just a tiny bit short of the rejection block. Lows down, close body candle here. We're just short of it a little bit. So upside, let's look at NASDAQ here. Looking for further draw on liquidity to the upside. That's the daily. Let's go with the hourly, and we'll work our way back down here. We have an hourly reclaimed fair value gap. We've dug into it multiple times. There's not an inversion until we come back into it this way. So we're just banging off of it here. We've come down and tagged the top of it. Oh no, we haven't. This was this one. What am I looking at here? Standby. Standby. Incorrect statement. I think this was the... Sorry. The wick. That's right. I didn't want it to get more than 50. Oh, I don't want to see it close below the 50% of the wick. Right. Okay, let me close that one off so we get the right. So we have a little tiny fair value gap down here, also at the bottom of the daily fair value gap. We ran back up into it, came back down, and tagged the edge of that daily fair value gap nicely. Look for the midpoint right here of this up close candle. Also seems to be the midpoint of the daily fair value gap as well that we're sitting in presently. So you see there's a level of sensitivity at the highs, the lows, this midpoint. I'm looking at that midpoint now. Order block, you want to see this order block hold. If you want to continue to the upside to get all this relative, there's a lot of liquidity sitting up here inside this, just above this fair value gap and before this one. Oh, we got 4 people here. Morning, Lauriston. Good to see you, buddy. Looking at liquidity above the 4th and 5th. Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of liquidity sitting up there for sure. Looking for an opportunity to get in there. Let's see if we get a retracement back into this level here. If we get a retracement back into that fair value gap there, and then run for this liquidity above. I like that idea. Let's close that and go down to a lower time frame. Look at the 15-minute. It's a little pocket of liquidity down here. Asian range, we just took the Asian range there. Last Friday's New York session. Hang on. Stand by. I'm just going to check my door here. I think my wife couldn't get the door closed. Okay. Minus 19 here in Canada today. That's Celsius, by the way. That's a little chilly out there. Our windows are got a lot of humidity on the windows right now. Okay. So what are we looking at here? 15-minute. On the upside, we have this little 15-minute fair value gap sitting above us at 16,550 to 16,532. We're run on Asia and London session already. See what kind of bead we can get on this. Let's go down into the 5-minute. Consolidation. Due to swing into London. The reversal. Break in market structure. Return to 50% of that range. I bet you if you pull 50%, that would be around 50% of that range. Yep, 50% of the range. Pull back in for a quick little discount. Ran back up, broke structure again. Come back down into the fair value gap. And look at the time, 6:10. Fair value gap forms. Come back in. Tag that. My old buddy Kevin, guy used to be on here with us. I don't know what happened to old Kevin, our security guard, our what was he called? What was he, Lauriston? He was a corrections officer. Anyway, he was with us. This was used to be his setup. He used to look for a 5-minute fair value gap just after the hour had started. 5-minute fair value gap. Then he went in and traded on the 1 minute. Once he saw it there, traded on the 1 minute, and then went long. So that's the 6 o'clock fair value gap on the 5-minute anyway. Or sorry, silver bullet. Running for equal highs. Fair value gap again. Another break in structure. Fair value gap, come back into it, find some support. Break structure again, come back down, reclaim fair value gap, and then continue on to the upside. Break in structure again. So this is just supporting the narrative of a bull side. Now we've broken that downward trend, and now we're continue to break and show signs of new highs, reaching for objectives over on this side. Old highs. New York session now, yesterday or Friday's New York session, and there is, yeah, it's just that New York session there. Oops, where do we go? So let's look at the building the narrative around this. You'll see market structure breaks and then being supported by order blocks and fair value gaps. They're fighting. This is the midpoint or the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap here, finding support off of this order block here. This guy here is inside this one, so you count these two. Come back, claim that order block again inside the mean threshold, held it one more time, bodies hold it, wick is holding it this time, supporting mean threshold, body support the mean threshold. Also this little fair value gap in here, bodies are respecting that. We have a little tiny dip down below them. Breaking structure above, fair value gap sitting right here. Look at that range, 50% of that range. We're looking for price to get back into here before we continue to the upside. Now we've broken the highs here. What's our overall objective? Midpoint of this big up close candle, which is a daily fair value gap inversion that we're in right now. There's a midpoint right here, so look for upside of 16,514. So we're like not too far away from it now. And then I want to see if it holds price. So if we continue to find support of that, look further for more upside. This draw on liquidity up here, this 5-minute fair value gap. Or sorry, this daily fair value gap above us. Good morning, Derek. Yes, 4th and 5th is a draw. That would be good. So if we get a draw back down into here, that liquidity on the 4th and 5th would be a great place to reach for. So I might take a long right in there. We'll see what the next minute shows us, because we're just 1 minute short of the opening here. Okay. I just want to try something here. Oops. I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. We'll see if that's an objective. Well, that ran. We're looking for that liquidity. Like we mentioned at the 4 4th and 5th. Like Lauriston pointed out earlier as well. There's your regular trading hours, Derek. Or not Derek. And it's that's your regular trading hours cap. In your S&P 500. Let's go back to the NASDAQ here. I just want to see if I get a reaction at this spot. And I'll show you what I did. Seeing the Dow drop, wonder if price is going to go the liquidity early and then drop. Oh yeah, I think when I was starting off, I was talking about an SMT divergence this morning. I said these guys were going to go up and this one was going to go down. That's funny. Yeah, go back to the very beginning of this thing when I started the show this morning. I was talking about these going up and this one going down. So I was like, wait a second, I'm talking about an SMT divergence before it happens. But anyway, that's what the Dow's looking like. It's going to come back down into that daily fair value gap. And we look like we're going to run to the top of this, at least the top of this fair value gap here. 50%, we're hitting 50% of Friday's wick already. And the NASDAQ is hitting, it's already past 50% of its wick. So I'm looking for that little tiny piece of fair value gap sitting right up in here on the daily. That's the draw on liquidity. So interesting, because Dow doesn't have anything on the daily chart that leaves any gaps or any imbalances, unless you guys have something on your charts that I'm not looking at or I don't see. Let's go back into this. Let's look at what the Dixie's up to this morning. Obviously, this was what I was pointing out to the other day, Derek, in the Breakfast Club when we were discussing about the predictions yesterday. There were multiple confluences here. There's the breaker. There's so the breaker low sitting right here. We have the daily inversion fair value gap. Actually, it's not a standby. Which one are we looking at? We have the breaker fair value gap. It's not really an inversion fair value gap. It's a reclaimed fair value gap. Price imbalance. I'm not going to change that because I don't, like Michael, I don't want to change, re-edit it after the fact. We have a little price imbalance sitting in here. We have a weekly inversion fair value gap. We've gone through it, come back into it. Now that makes that a weekly inversion. We've tagged the edge of it. So right there is where we're looking for multiple confluences that support potential for supporting of price, and then continuation on the downside. It's hard to call this one because you got two big wicks on either side, so you could say 50% of that side, 50% of that side. The one that we close above or below is the one that really, I think, will move us in the direction, and I still think we've got further downside to go with the dollar. Depends if we lose 50% of this. I'd like to see this fair value gap either support price and run back up, or I want to see it just slowly start to get eaten through. We come back up and reclaim the rest of this BISI here on the downside. So that downward will give us a run on the upside for British pound. We'll need to be careful around 16,563 and 16,565. As I say, a couple of imbalances there, may not go above them. So look for these equal highs here and that rejection block for the upside run on British pound. Euro fair value gap sitting up there still. CAD. I had a trade on in CAD. Looking for a run up into this fair value gap here. These equal lows. I might just take that off at the fair value gap there, because that's contrary to what we've just been talking about with Dixie, right? So if this drops down, that means British or the CAD should go down because US first. Let's manage this from the back end maybe. Just cleaned out the highs. I'm taking that out before 10 o'clock, so a couple of bucks there. I'm not there to watch it, so I'm just gonna stay with that one. Aussie dollar, reclaim this daily fair value yet one more time. We have a potential to run all the way into this 62% retracement of that whole range there. I got a few minutes before we get the 10 o'clock opening. Remove. Let's try this again. $50, $62, 70%. Right there, 75% of that price leg. 75% retracement. Optimum trade entry will fill that fair value gap on the Australian dollar for the continuation above these old highs. This is a huge candy land up here right now. So the potential to run into here, I'd like to see it just come to the midpoint. The consequent encroachment of that fair value gap. Make that a little bigger for you guys. That fair value gap, consequent encroachment, tap it one more time, leave the rest open, and then run for those equal highs, but leave that little portion open. We may come down as far as tapping just the outside or the high of that daily fair value gap and then running back up. But if the American dollar has decided to start to drop, that means this should start to rise. 50% of this wick. I know I got lots of there you go, there's 50% of the wick right there, which is that breaker's high. Interesting. Last up close candle before run below these lows. So that may be it right there. 50%, tap it and go. So I have three different objectives here. 50%, 75%. I got this around the wrong way. So that'll be a 50% retracement, 75% retracement inside Friday's candle, back to the top of the fair value gap, and then continue to the upside for this little draw and liquidity here. Order block up here, and then the further highs. That's the call on that, and we'll leave that on there just because I wouldn't mind seeing where that ends up. Because 62% puts us right on top of the fair value gap, also puts us at 75% retracement on Friday's wick. There's several confluences I like down here, so we'll have a look at those in a bit. Went all the way to take that high, but not yet to the high at 4 hours. I got it out in 2 minutes. Fair value gap highs. Oh, he's out. Okay, I'll get over to that in a second. I just want to have a quick review of this. So I'm still looking for those. There's my magic number down here. Didn't quite get what I was looking for here. I was looking for a return to 50% or the mean threshold of that up close candle. Just got short of it and pulled away quite aggressively. So I didn't get the area that I was looking for. Just short of it. Look at that. Just shy. Alright, so now we've got downside for oil. We're into the rejection block. Keep your eye on this candle here for a return back up into that candle's low before continuing down. If this 50% of this wick holds, then look for a return back into here first in terms of this consolidation before running back down below these lows, rejection block, and then eventually that wick down below. Gold. Gold should start to climb for us. Look for equal highs, relative equal highs up here. I want to see those clear out inside that breaker. Sorry, inside this order block over here. We have mean threshold is yet to be hit. and then you got the rejection block, and so on and so forth. We've hit the mean threshold of this last down close candle right here, being the breaker. Last down close candle before a run above these little highs here. We've hit the mean threshold of that candle with the bodies. Respecting that, now I want to see it start to get some support above this. Let's start looking for a climb. That's little rock climbing, as Michael calls it. Footholds on the way up to see it take out these highs. We got that still. We won't worry about the rest of that stuff. Let's get back over here. Well, that blew right through where I was thinking. All right, so now we've taken out the highs at 4th and 5th. There you go. Those highs are taken out. We've hit the bottom of that daily fair value inversion here now. Nicely done. All that other, it's an interesting little indicator, but it's annoying. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Michael's saying, I picked the 16,585 target. It was reached before anyone on YouTube mentioned it. I think we'd mentioned that pretty early, that we're heading up here at 16,585 above these highs here. I don't know when he mentioned it, but wait, at least I'm happy that we're on the same page as he's on, which is great. I'm not going to get into a pissing contest with the master. If stuff only worked, I'd be such a hot dog. I must be seeing the wrong one. Pictures help identify it. My ruler says 125 or so. Let's look at your GBP trade you're looking at here. So you're looking for these equal highs up here. You got 9 more minutes before you see a nice little silver bullet entry, aiming for those equal highs up here at 127 to 127.80. What's your objective? 127.20. If I lose 127.20, if you lose 127.20 here? Oh, right down in here. Okay. If you lose that, you're out. So remember the revisit. We've come through the New York Open. Midnight candle. Swept below it. Came back up. Tagged it. And now you're leaving it. You're inside this fair value gap right here. You've eaten all the way through it. You've come back up inside it. And now we're back in here. So that inversion fair value gap, BISI you've got right here. You want to see it break price, hold here, and then continue to push up. It's in the 5 minute, not the 1 hour. Yeah, I get that. I get where you're at. I'm just showing you what's going on in terms of the hourly. The 5 minute chart. Old highs. You want to see it provide support inside this regular trading hour gap here. You've come back. You filled it. So I wouldn't want to see 127.14, 127.15. I want to see it get any lower than that. There's a little inversion fair value gap sitting right in here. I wouldn't want to see it start getting through that, so keep your eye on. There's a little tiny guy right here. I'll show you that on the 5 minute chart right there. Oh, the regular trading hour gap hasn't even been hit yet. It's just coming back into it now, which is the top of that. We'll see what the 10 o'clock hour brings us. And Q's really digging into that. Let's run the highs already. I like your idea, Derek, of the potential for this to... do we get the reversal here now? The run above these highs before 10 o'clock? Do we get some support off that inversion? And then start to change direction. We still have that fair value gap sitting in here on the daily. Let me just take this guy and put it to where it's most likely to do some. Let me unlock it first. That's the more feasible one right now, but keep in mind this level here, which is the inversion fair value gap on that side. This one's just the daily fair value gap on this side. So you see how we're coming to the edge of it here? Inside this one. New York session on Thursday, or Friday's New York session midnight candle. Might be too big a reach. That daily fair value gap here, midpoint. Actually, let's break this up into, just want to see something here. If we break that up into our quarters again. We're at 25% of that right now. Oh, there you go. Popping up into 50% of that range. We just ran into the inversion fair value gap here. We're just hitting the midpoint there. We just hit the consequent encroachment. 75. So that old okay, I'm getting way too many notifications. They are settings, notifications and sounds. Allow sound. No, I don't want the sound. Take the sound away because it's driving me nuts. Okay. Thank you. Market structure looks clean on this 10-second chart. I love Lauriston. He's like right in that seconds chart, digging around in there. So now we've hit the top of that fair value gap daily. That's been completely filled. Return to that old low on the 1 hour. So where do we go from here? Do we continue to drive through? And if we do, you're looking for, and we are, which is good. Now find some support on top of this. I'd like to see that. Find support on top of that. And then push for this fair value gap up here, this daily one, which is also the top of that weekly fair value gap if we're reaching for the highs. Come back and find some support at that. We could even come back to these old highs right here on the hourly. Let's look at that on the hourly chart. NASDAQ might be doing this. This is what I'm looking at here. Is that providing a level of support? Look for that consequent encroachment. There's the 25, 50% of that inversion fair value gap. Now that we've run through it, if we come back, find some support at it to go higher. There's still this liquidity up here. There's relative equal highs up here. We'll see how this daily fair value gap holds price. There's this 25. I don't mind if it comes all the way through, clips this, and then starts to make a run back up. It can even come down as far as this daily fair value gap as well, this inversion. Find support at that and continue to the upside. So keep your eyes on that. And as that's doing that, I want to be looking at the lower time frames for support on that theme. That's 1 hour. Let's get to a 15-minute here. Same thing. So far, that 25% of that daily fair value gap, we dug back into that. And we're looking to climb out of it. On the 15-minute. The 5-minute. That's a dollar index. I was like, that doesn't even look like that chart. It's because it's the damn dollar index. Stand by. Let's get on the same page here. Nope. Hello. Here we go. 5 minutes. All right. So my point was we're looking for support at this if we're going to continue up. We're finding support at it. Now do we continue to the upside? We got 4 minutes, so let's look for a silver bullet entry here. $9.59, little tiny fair value gap there. Look for that little guy right there. We're just coming back to the top here, so that may stay open. You're going to see the next, if it's not this candle, the next one to roll over and come back into here. Let's go on all of these 1 minute. See which one of these. I don't know what has to be in the middle here all the time for me. All right. There's a silver bullet here, here. And as usual, I'm going to wait for my, even though it's bullish, it's kind of late in a bullish run. So we'll see what the next hour candle gives us. We are consequent encroachment of another fair value gap on the daily from an earlier time period. Yeah, that was the inversion. That was the inversion fair value gap on the opposing side, I think. Yeah, over here. $10 o'clock, there's your silver bullet on the Dow. Look for that fair value gap there. E-mini S&P. Pop it in there now. And your NASDAQ 2 minutes ago popped into that. I want to see that run down into the second one though. Just because if I want a range here, I want a discount of that range. Well, there you go. This guy ran all the way to the second one. That one's running through it. That's why I wait till I like to wait till first 15 minutes to see what happens. We start getting another fair value gap on the opposing side that conflicts with this, then I'm more apt to take the second one than I am the first one. But if it's in a consolidation, you wait for a cleaner setup. So you want to see this candle start to climb out of here now through this mean threshold. I start to take these highs out. I want to see this get revisited down here. $10, $11, $12. Boom. Slap right into that. There's the second one. So we've got there's the silver bullets after 10 o'clock. If you're really looking at it, that's the short one right there. This is a long one here, and now we don't know which way you're going to go. So we're digging down into here. Look for another bounce off of the top of the daily fair value gap. Do we find support off of this and continue up, which is also the perfect fill of that daily, of that fair value gap there on the 1 minute. $9.57. The sweet spot for silver bullets are from 9.50 to 10.10 apparently. So that would be if you're looking at the range there of that one, that would be your optimum trade entry. Back to a consolidation. Yeah, I like this as a potential long. Return into here. got 50% of that daily fair value gap again, sitting right here, which is also inside that fair value gap we got just before 10 o'clock. We have returned to the top. We're filling that fair value gap here now. Now, do we get a reaction off of here and continue pushing up? If so, I want to see a body in on top of this one. If not, we're still looking for these lows, 50%. Good. You want to see this one provide support now. If we're going to continue the upside, we just got some strength off the top of the daily fair value gap inside that this fair value gap on the 1 minute. So there's your 10.03 silver bullet. Take your 5 to 10 handles. Or run this up high up here. Back to the order block. Now you want to see a blast through his. Get right through the mean threshold of that and push for these highs now. Not quite the rejection block yet. Mean threshold. React off of that. Come back up. Okay, good. We validated this order block now. We're getting into the mean threshold of this candle. We're through that, so equal lows. Well, it's reacting off the mean threshold. push through mean threshold of here. So you're kind of stuck between these two candles right now. You don't see that one give way. There you go. Looking for these highs. We're into the rejection block now. A lot of equal highs sitting there. Now Lurston, if we could get all the way back down into here one more time before we push up there and take those equal highs out and then continue up to the upside. I do like that possibility. So keep your eye on the mean threshold of this candle here now. Right there. Look for that to support. When you get below that, come back into that, then you're looking at the mean threshold of that candle. We're in consolidation, so you're bashing around between this candle's mean threshold, which hasn't been hit yet, and this candle if we start to get below it. If not, we're still running up. Taking all this out of here with this candle, so that candle only gets validated when we get below it. So really we're only got one candle we're play with just right now. That's an interesting situation to be in, really. This candle doesn't provide any support yet. It hasn't even been validated, and yet all the candles that are inside here this one's traveled above them, so it's only got upside as far as I can see there. This is off this guy. We're inside the mean threshold of that candle. Well, I'll talk about a little holding pattern here, folks. What's our friends over at Forex doing? Still running up? Good. Looking for that liquidity above the Friday's highs. Those equal highs there. I like the way we hit our objective on Friday. We hit that and then ran down, almost hit the objective we were looking for on Friday's low. That was the range we were looking at in, and it stayed perfectly inside that range. Wow, perfectly. Just ran above it here. Didn't quite get down to it here. Things if you just shuffle that candle down, the distance between there to there would be from there to there. US CAD. Good thing we got out of US CAD when we did. Remember saying if the US dollar is going down, that continuation on that price going up did not seem like it was supporting it, so get out, which is a good time to get out, like we did. Geez, what time? When did we get out of there? Did we get out at the right time? Yeah, pretty close. There's the exit there. New Zealand dollar. Look at these equal lows get taken out. Look for that fair value gap there to fill. Inside inversion. One more piece here. See how it reacts off the lows. Yes, I like that. So return back to these old highs here on the 15-minute. Also brings you into that fair value gap sitting right here. Takes out these equal lows. And then continue on the upside. Daily's got a big chunk of liquidity still sitting up here, that SIBI. That's a nice daily. Make sure we mark that off. From there to there. One minute. We'll see if it hits in here. Aussie dollar, we're looking to get down to 50%. We're just short of that. Oil, still looking for oil to take a little run down here. I like it. Keep on going. Don't have a trade on here, but I love oil. I was looking for that entry right there off the top of the midpoint of that up close candle there, that bullish order block. I'd like to see 50% of that, or the mean threshold. We didn't quite get taken on either one of those attempts, but we do have continuation on the downside. I like. I'm still looking for that 63.59 area. And gold is continuing up like we just mentioned earlier. Didn't quite, I think this is where we were looking at here, or was it here? Can't remember. Go back into the discussion earlier this morning talking about gold, and I don't know if this was our objective to reach for, or these old highs here. This fair value gap, I might have been too short on that one, unless I was picking that one. Can't remember. So we did say silver had more upside. I like it. We were aiming for this here. That's definitely been hit. So we got silver. Gold's running for these equal highs. Well, I do like the idea that NASDAQ has found some support off the top of that daily fair value gap. If we bang around on top of that, My thoughts are we're still going to continue to the upside. Needs the juice from another to get above the highs. Yeah. Anybody give me any ideas? Remember, don't forget to turn up your, even though it says auto, high def. Your quality is on, make sure you set your 1020p. Now, I don't know why it's, if anybody can give me ideas on how to OBS, I can increase the definition on that. Maybe it's my screen. I'm not sure. Like, it looks a lot cleaner on my screen than it does on your screen on YouTube there. So if you can find a new way for me to make this a little crisper, cleaner, then I'll do that for you guys. I want y'all to have a better visual experience. And there's unfortunately there's a 10-second delay there. Good morning, Mr. Lee. So here's just some support at the top of the equal highs here. Consolidation, body gets above it, come back, find some support at it, continue on the upside. Now, what will be really good if we get a reversal. This decides to just switch up on us. This would be a nice little run up. 34, 35, then blow down, come back up into 50% of that or consolidation, and then get short on that. So I'll watch over the next few minutes. We should have a turning point over the next 5 minutes or so. Time's important, and we're starting to get to a point right now where time is going to make a turn, or usually makes a swing point. Let me just see what that looks like on a, what if we run out here? Right to that. Run the highs. Order block. Okay. On the hourly. 1 minute. I like that. So let's keep an eye on this 1 minute here for that turn I just mentioned. So that's the thing you want to see, consolidation, breakout, take those highs, now start to drip right down below this, come back up into it for short. Been keep studying mentorship 2022 the past month and making notes on that tough but comprehensive lessons from ICT. Yes, 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 yes. I agree. Make lots of notes. Do a lot of screen captures. If you're into screen captures. I've got a binder full of screen captures with notes all over them, drawn all everywhere, just massive. And Michael explains it. I'll freeze the frame, freeze the picture, screen capture it, and then make notes. And sometimes I take word for word, I type in word for word what he's talking about right at that specific point, just so you get very clear what it is that he's talking about. Like I have a binder over the last, well, several binders now, over the last few years. I used to do, in paramedic school, I used to do cue cards. You make these little tiny cue cards and you put 1 or 2 points on your cue card and flip it over and you have the answer on the back. And I'd have cue cards that would fit in the palm of your hand, and I used to make thousands, I kid you not, thousands of these cue cards. And I'd sit there out front of a class waiting for the door to open, and I'd sit there and flip through each card. And I even have a bunch of cue cards I'd made for ICT. You draw it all out. Back in the day, I even got them right here in front of me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, premium fair value gap, void or bearish order block. 127 fib extension. Jesus. I've got, and I even went out, I printed them. I look back on these and I printed a lot of them. There's color in them. Yeah. So, yeah, keep studying, my friend. Make a lot of cue cards. If you're into anything visual, remember to find out what your learning style is. I did a course by Colin Rose and Brian Tracy on super learning, which is trying to find out what your learning style is. So there's like 7 intelligences, and I know that a lot of people may think this is all BS, but you know, of the 7 intelligences, I'll see if I can remember these here now. You have linguistic intelligence. Those are the people that actually have the gift for the gab. So these are the people that use words and language really, really well. Those would be your orators. They'll be your politicians. They can use language as a very powerful way to learn. You have mathematical logical. So these are the people who are your scientific type people that like numbers, that like calculations. And you got visual spatial. Visual spatial people are your artists, the people that like to do drawings. They can create some beautiful art from their mind. They're just very visual type people. Then you have musical. Those are the people that have you can literally study. It boggled my mind how you'd have people who could study for hours and they'd have the stereo blasting, and yet they would learn so much better with music playing, or they add music to their learning style and they learned so much better. You have body physical. Another one is called body physical. Now, body physical is more my style. That was where I was into martial arts. I was into acting. I was into a lot of physical type of movement stuff. So your gymnasts, people who are very good with their, like the Jackie Chan's really good with their body physical movement. So what have we got? Linguistic, mathematical, logical, visual, spatial. We have, what have I got here? Another one is called the internal or intrapersonal intelligence and interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal intelligence is your ability to be able to recognize and communicate with other people. Those are your psychologists. They understand the workings of other people's minds and how we interact with one another. Interpersonal intelligence or intrapersonal intelligence is your ability to be able to go inside your own mind and know what your needs and wants are, understand very clearly yourself. And I think that's all 7 of them. But anyway, so draw this out just because I'm trying to keep. I don't want too much dead air, so I'm just trying to entertain you with some other ideas for some learning. I do the same 4-hour fair value gap was coming into view. So here's that turn I was just mentioning here. Now you want to see this. If we do get a return into this, I don't want to lose 50% of that. The fact that we've just returned to the high of it, that's good for me. You want to continue up for the upside, or 50% of it, and then continue to the upside. If you lose 50%, I'm looking for the reversal thing to happen on the downside. Anyway, back to those intelligences. If you understand what your intelligence is, and you can have more than one. So for me, I'm visual, spatial, and body physical. So I have to get up and move around when I study. I can't just sit still, and I need to draw things out. I need to see things visually. You can't just tell me. I need to see it. I'm a very visual person, and most people, 55% of the people out there are visual. So you need to, those types of people need to have visual things like study cards, visual cards, lots of diagrams, lots of drawings. In books, you need lots of diagrams explaining something. You like videos to explain things because they're visual. Your body physical people, your mechanics that have to pull crap apart. I want to pull an engine apart so I can understand it better. So this is what we're looking at here. We had that swing point, reversal, back to consolidation, support at the top of consolidation, and continue to the upside. So far that daily fair value gap is still holding price. So we find out what your study style is, or your learning style, and adapt around it. When I used to have a study group in paramedic school, I'd have a group of friends that would come, and I'd draw on the board. I'd make learning maps. Learning maps are a great way too. So you put your central theme in the middle of your page, and you branch off in a clockwise fashion. You make little doodles and stuff like that to emphasize key points, and you'll remember a visual chart more than you'll remember lines and lines and lines and lines of historical words that you write down. I used to make pages and pages of history notes. Couldn't give you a clue, but I can visualize. I can see inside my mind's eye morphine. What morphine? I have a little vial of morphine here, and all the little indications, contraindications, generic drug names, and all that stuff that goes around the outside of your central theme. So mind maps are a great way for visual people to study, to learn. So I encourage you all to kind of look those things up. $16,665. 16,665. You said it's a 4-hour, right? That's the 4-hour fair value gap on the upside. Good call, Derek. I got another 15 minutes. Today's my last day with my parents. They go home tomorrow. So I've got to enjoy them for a whole month, which has been great. And I hope you all can say that about your parents and how much you love them. And it's been an awesome time having them here for Christmas this year. We've had a lot of laughs. And they're so cute. Unfortunately, they both got COVID. My wife had COVID. They came... They'd had their shots. They'd had like 4 shots already, and they still got COVID. And I don't know. Don't even get me talking about the whole vaccination idea. It's not a vaccination. It's a shot. They got their shots. Anyway, I won't get on a tangent. But they're here for their last day. And tomorrow I will probably Cut my show short tomorrow because I have to take them to the airport. They have to be there by 10, so I'll be leaving. Yeah, I'll probably be leaving here about 9 o'clock, so I'll be out at the same time tomorrow because I got to get them there for 10:30, and then they're gone for the next little while. So then we'll start to extend our times. We'll try and stick around for a little longer for the rest of the week. We'll start getting into longer and longer sessions, trying to catch the macro in the afternoon if we don't find anything good in the morning. Okay, so 1080p is good for you. I see equal highs marked as well. Don't expect it to go there though. So good call if I think of it now. This is just slowly meandering its way up there, hey? Hey, sound like a Canadian. Slowly meandering, eh? I can't even do a Canadian accent. I know we say hey and a, but it's not like eh. How's it going, eh? We don't talk like this, like you have a stiff jaw. How's it going, eh? That's not how we talk up here. Again, fair value gap came back, bodies of the candles respected, and we're continuing to move up above that candle. So you can kind of just look at the consolidation, the run above. We didn't quite get back to the level of consolidation we had here. We have a new consolidation, pop above it, come back into it, right there, run away, order block, run above it, on it, run away, order block, run above it. We come back to old high here. That's left open as a breakaway gap. Come back to the high perfectly. Consolidation, another breakaway gap, fair value gap. Then we start to get above that old daily fair value gap we talked about earlier. Come back, found support at it inside the fair value gap daily, and consolidation, run above consolidation, come back to consolidation, pull away, take out the highs, come back inside, fair value gap, mean threshold, continuation. It's there. If you like little candles on the 1 minute to slowly, and don't forget you're in the premium part of your 10 o'clock already. So you say to yourself, do I want to be participating in the premium of a range that started at 9 o'clock this morning? And you're still getting confluences and support? That's up to you. Plus you've already ran out some higher time frame objectives. That's why Michael was out. You took the lion's share of that run up. And now this is just like slowly meandering, petering up. I'm still looking for a reversal into the lunch. But I won't get that today. It's only Monday. There's your 666 6. There you go. There's the edge of your 4-hour fair value gap there. Derek, good call. Now you're digging into that 4-hour fair value gap now. Just so those of you who are not sure, that was the 4-hour fair value gap there. I'll just block this out so you get a piece of understanding where that's at. Template 4-hour fair value gap. Go back to our 1 minute. What time are we at here? 51:52. We should see a reversal for the next few minutes here to next 4 minutes. We should see another swing point. 4 to 7 minutes, we should see a swing point. How's our friend doing over there? Oh yeah, we're getting there. We're still pushing up, looking for those equal highs. Look for that mean threshold as well. That could be the annoying thing about GPP. It runs up to the mean threshold and then starts to react off of it again and doesn't quite give you those equal highs yet. If it does blast through, look for the rejection block. There should be a turn for the next couple of minutes. should start to turn now. So like you say, I noticed how I mentioned at that point, the next couple of minutes we'd see a turn, which we did, and now you'll see another one. The Dow opportunity. So we had a return to yeah, there's an opportunity right there. Nice eye, Huddleston. Watch, we're not just going to return to this consolidation here to continue to push up. Mind you, there's not much up here. We've taken out these highs. There is this little portion right here that we still haven't hit yet, which is on the hourly. We still got that little piece up there. The high on this candle here is, yeah, we're just short of that little imbalance right there. So if we do get a return here, watch that we don't just get a reaction off the top of this fair value gap here and then continue to push back up higher. I like the consolidation here. But watch that this isn't just another big run push up. I'm long on the waiting for I'm long on it though, waiting for confirmation. Ah, okay. You're looking for this right here to go long. Yeah, I like that that possibility up there. You can start digging down into your 30-second chart. And see if you get a reaction off of that level. Got a few more minutes. %, puts you right on that, right there. just want to see something. If we go here, and then I go from here to here. Come on. Body's got through this already. Look for this guy here. 50% of the range that was created from the open down into 10 o'clock, around the lows, just before 10. That fair value gap is now full. Now we took this from here to the bottom of the fair value gap. 62% retracement. I'm looking for a Model 1 setup here. You can find the Model 1 setup on Michael's channel, ICT website. Take the range created from 7 o'clock till 11. On a 5-minute chart. Take a 62% retracement in that. That's a Model 1 setup. That's what I'm looking for here. Mr. T. Good morning, sir. Welcome to 2024. It's 9:06. I'm going to go spend some time with Mom and Dad, last day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm looking for this right here, 62% retracement. Just trying to look at a Model 1 trade, see if we get a confirmation on a Model 1 of the range it created since, what's the low between 7 o'clock and 11, and the high, and then the retracement back 62% of that for a reversal. So I'm just looking to see if that works. So anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks very much for popping in. Sorry, Mr. T. Oh, Hydra, how you doing, buddy? How are you? I popped in a couple of your shows. I've enjoyed your shows. Thank you so much for sharing with everybody out there your ICT knowledge and experience. I love it. It's great. And I've been checking out a couple of other people as well. That Laura Trader, I like her stuff as well. I encourage you all to go out and check out Hydra and his channel when he's up and running and he's doing his thing. I encourage you all to go check him out. I like what he's doing. And sorry, buddy. My parents are here for the last day of their Christmas run. I got them out here in early December, and I'm looking to spend the last day with them, and then tomorrow I'll be with you guys for about another hour or two tomorrow, and then, like I said, we'll start extending this a little longer throughout the week. We'll try and get the second macro of the day. If we can't get the first morning one, we'll try and get the afternoon one. So I'll be sticking around with you guys a little longer throughout the rest of the week now and the rest of the year. But until then, Hydra, check out Tanya. Yeah, Tanya Trader. Isn't that what I said? Laura? Not Tanya. Tanya Trades. She's doing pretty good with ICT. Pops up on the stream every day. That's a fact. Yeah, I like her. I've watched some of her stuff too, and she's easier. She's a heck of a lot easier in the eyes than if I actually put my mug up there for you guys to look at. She's a lot easier to look at. Got a great following, lots of people, lots of positive encouragement out there, and that's what we're after, man. You know, you don't have to pick my channel. There's lots of channels out there, a lot of people doing this stuff, a lot of people doing really good stuff, recognizing ICT's concepts. So I encourage you to check them out by all means. But until tomorrow, my friends, I will see you all tomorrow. Again, I'm just looking at that. There's nothing in here that would support a 62% other than that breaker right here. Nothing that, if I'm cutting candles, yeah, there's an inversion fair value, yep, sitting in here as well. I don't know, maybe. Anyway, I'm looking here. Just look at that one as the potential for a Model 1 setup. Take the low to the high, 11 o'clock, 62% retracement, and then look for these equal highs up top here to get taken for lunch. Anyway, that's what I'm kind of sitting in my eyes right now. I like the 50% sitting right here as well for a discount of a large range created since of the day. You know, if we pull back to 50% of that range and just dip down into the discount portion and get a lift off from here, look for these equal highs to round off the day. If not, that'll be our objective for tomorrow. But I still think that might be taken out for lunch. So anyway, that's my idea for the day. Not that I'm going to trade it, but that's the idea I'm looking at right there. See if we get any of that. Those are the two things I'm looking for. And with that, my friends, and don't forget, this is a 30-second chart I'm on here. With that, my friends, I'm out of here. I will see you guys. Love you all so much. Thank you so much for turning up. And Hydra, thanks for popping in, buddy. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. But I'm done. Larson's back, but I'm done till tomorrow morning, New York AM session. Me too, buddy. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.